The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name's Nate Reese. I'm working with NEMSI. We're going to go ahead and get this presentation started with Platinum Educational Group. They're going to go over emstesting.com and their solutions that they're offering for educators now who are dealing with more online education problems than ever. So I'm going to go ahead and hand over the presentation to John Spencer from Platinum Ed. He's going to run things. As we're going through this webinar, please feel free to go to the chat and ask your questions, and we'll have a Q&A session afterwards, and we'll go ahead and answer all your questions, but that way we can move through this webinar smoothly without stopping to answer questions. So without further ado, here's John.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend some time with us to talk about how Platinum Educational Group, how we can assist you in delivering remote testing securely to your students as we all navigate through these certainly unprecedented times. My name is John Spencer. I'm the Education Director, or Director of Education for Platinum Educational Group. I also have Jeremy, our Marketing Director, and Jeff, our National Sales Director, on the presentation, listening along and willing to jump in and help during the Q&A later. So I just want to spend a little time chatting with you about our emstesting.com solution, and how we believe that it can be leveraged to assist those of us who are facing the struggles of delivering tests to our students during the shutdown of schools, pushing everything remote. So first of all, emstesting.com, that is our online testing solution that is designed to allow students to log in and take tests online. The full package solution allows programs to design and build quizzes, tests, as well as deliver the high stakes content of blueprinted final exams to their students online, which includes remotely, along with it being a secure environment through this Platinum Secure Testing platform, which is software brought to you by Respondus. It's their lockdown browser solution. So everyone is aware. There's no surprise that things have changed educationally out there for all of us. With the hold on, I gotta just try to move this out of my way so I can actually see my screen too. Sorry. So with the pandemic going on out there, programs are being forced to be remote. We are struggling to be able to meet face to face, and so that causes some difficulties for programs that are used to delivering their high stakes exams, such as final exams, in a face-to-face environment with a physical human proctoring the situation. And we wanted to just take the opportunity to let everyone know that we're in it with you, and that we're here to help, and that we do have a solution through emstesting.com using secured testing. So for those situations to where in-person testing via paper and pencil, or maybe you're used to delivering your content in a testing lab at your facilities or in your school, in a situation where those are no longer available, we do have a solution that will allow you to deliver validated, blueprinted final exams to your students securely using our secure testing platform through emstesting.com. As I mentioned briefly earlier, EMS testing uses our secure testing platform, which uses the Respondus software. It's Respondus Lockdown Browser software. And what that does is that it requires the students to download the Respondus software onto their machines And when the test is launched, it activates that software, which opens up a secure browser requiring that all other programs on that computer be shut down. No other windows can be open, no other software running. They're not able to copy and paste. It locks everything down quite securely. And secure testing has been a part of EMS testing for several years now. And for the full use customers that are already using EMS testing, they've been able to enjoy the secure testing environment at no additional charge. But in response to the situation of everything that's going on now, we are opening up the platform to customers and non-customers alike that are just looking for an opportunity to be able to deliver final exams to their students remotely in a secure environment. So what this does is the secure testing platform, it just negates the need to have a live proctor during these testing events. Now, certainly there are solutions, and there's many opportunities out there. There's solutions out there, and we just want to offer another solution for your consideration at a reasonable cost to deliver these tests. So the solution we're offering for the high stakes testing, it's an opportunity for you, the school, to deliver a final exam to your students remotely in a secured environment for a one-time cost. It's not a full price, full use of EMS testing. So it is at a reasonable cost per student fee that will allow your students to have an account to come in and to take the test. And then we'd be able to provide you with the results. The fees per student for the final exams that are available, there's final exams available at each of the license levels, EMR through paramedic. The paramedic final would be at $25, and then it goes down to $10 per student for the EMR. EMT and AMT are both being offered at $20 per student. Just before we get any deeper into it, I want to provide you with some contact information. If you're interested in learning more about the opportunity to deliver final exams to your students remotely in a secure testing environment, you can contact us using the sales@platinumed.com email address, or you can reach out to us via phone and speak to Jeff, our National Sales Director. So I just want to walk you through quickly here what the whole process looks like. So the way it would work would be the school would contact us and say, hey, we've got X amount of EMT students that we need to deliver final exams to, and we would like to use your solution. And so then the school would work with their initial contact would be with Jeff, and we'd get them set up to where they could either pay via credit card or pay via invoice for the total amount for their students to be able to take the exam. Once the fee's been paid, there'll be a custom course created by myself in EMS testing for you and your students to access to take the test. And so once the fee's been paid, I'll provide you with a course code that your students are going to use to securely enroll into your course. And so this is what it looks like for students when they would be directed to go to my.platinumed.com and click on Create Student Account. And so there's two buttons for that. There's one at the bottom of the screen, and then there's also one in the upper left when they go there. And from there, they're going to be taken to just the demographics page to create their account. And so they just need to fill in any of the fields that have an asterisk by them. So email, set their password, their first name, last name, phone number. And then in that box that red box that I've put on the screen there, that's where they're going to enter their course code. And what that course code will do is it will bring them directly into the course that has been custom created to deliver the exams for your students. Then of course they're going to confirm that they're not a robot and then click on create student account. Now it's important that we be transparent and we share with you that that we take the security of our content very seriously. In order to protect the validation and the security of our bank, we have measures on our site that are in place to prevent a student from being able to copy and paste while in any testing situation on our platform. And it's kind of a progressive discipline thing. The first time that a student attempts to copy and paste, they're going to get kind of a 3-minute spanking. So they're going to get a 3-minute suspension of the site that they're going to have to acknowledge, hey, I've screwed up. And once their 3 minutes is up, they acknowledge and they're brought back into the site to finish their test. A second attempt to copy and paste any content would result in a 5-minute suspension. And ultimately, it's a 3-strike rule. If they attempt to copy and paste content during a test, or at any time that they're on the testing environment, the 3rd strike results in a permanent ban of their account. And so they would be just removed, their access would be revoked, and there'd be no recourse for them to have that reversed. So it's important that students are aware of this, and it's important that all of you are aware of it too. Your students will have to acknowledge our terms and conditions when they create their account. And then once their account is created and they come into the dashboard, which is what we're looking at right now, there's also another pop-up that requires them to read and acknowledge again, because we all know people don't read terms and conditions. They scroll to the bottom and click accept. So we're going to make them do some more scrolling. They're going to have to read and accept this as well. And so it's important that we share that with them and that the students pay attention to it. And then once they acknowledge that, then that's going to go away and they're going to be able to click on their student role from their dashboard, which is going to take them into EMS testing. And so from there, you just instruct them that the first thing we want them to do is we want them to complete a little practice quiz. It's only 2 questions, and these are very easy questions. They're not EMS related. It's seriously like 1 + 1 = 2. But the point of the sample of the test quiz, practice quiz, is to make sure that they're able to get the secure testing software installed and running on their machine before attempting to take the final exam. So they would just click on take test, and that's going to take them to their instruction page, which is going to walk them through downloading and installing the Platinum Secure Testing software from Respondus. Now, it is important to note that that we are bound by the system requirements that Respondus has in place for their secure lockdown browser testing platform. And so currently, secure testing, the Respondus software, is only available for PCs running Windows, for Macs, and for iPads. The Respondus software lockdown browser will not work on Android tablets, smartphones, Kindles, only on PCs running full versions of Windows, Macs, and iPads. So they would just click on the appropriate link and it would walk them through downloading and getting the software installed. And then once that's done, then they can click on begin test, and it's going to launch their test experience for them. So this is just more information about the secure testing. So it is Respondus Lockdown Browser, and it's designed to allow you to give these high stakes tests remotely in that secure environment. They're not going to be able to print. They're not going to be able to navigate off to another URL. They're not going to be able to have multiple windows open. It's going to open in that secure browser window, and that's all that it's going to allow. And here's just another reminder of the system requirements. And it's important that if your students are using Chromebooks, then secure testing will not work for them. Respondus isn't currently supporting Chromebooks with their lockdown browser, and it's not anything that the Respondus folks or Platinum folks have done. It has to do with the multiple versions of the Google operating system out there. And so again, Windows machines, PCs running Windows, Mac devices, and iPads. So once it's installed and they launch, and they click on begin test, their test is going to launch in full screen in that secure browser. And again, it's going to prompt them that everything's got to be shut down before the test will launch. And so it's going to launch full screen, and they're going to be able to walk through and just take the exam one question at a time. As they see only one question at a time, they're going to select their answers and click next. They can leave feedback. That option is up here in the upper right corner of each of the questions, where they can click on that and they would be able to leave a message that would come to us and then would be shared with you upon export of the results. So your students would complete the exam, and then because we create a custom course for you, it's going to allow us to provide you with the results and validation statistics that are important to you. So first, as far as results go, once all your students have completed the exam, you'd be provided with just kind of an overall view, initially just an overall view of the student's performance. Well, what was the average cut score and for the class, what was their average raw score, as well as the reliability statistics, the KR20 and the Cronbach Alpha. And then if any item was selected for further discussion, there would also show up a list as far as what was the most requested curriculum, or what curriculum was most requested for discussion, would be part of the initial overview. But we also are going to provide you with a breakdown of the student's actual performance. And so this is just a screenshot of an exam results page. Students' names have been removed, but you can see that for each line there is a student. And so you see that for student 1, that they had a cut score of 76, the raw score was 69, their actual raw point values. And so you would get that detail for each student. And then along with that, you're also going to receive an export into, it will be a CSV file or Excel file that's going to show you the actual results, the actual question by question results for the student. And so for this simulated student here, you can see that in the screenshot that for question 1, you can see that Chewy's response was he selected choice 2, that happened to be the key, and so it is correct. And so this is just an export we provide you that shows how the student answered each question. And then also importantly, every time the student selects the answer, there's a time date stamp happening in the system, so that if you ever had any concerns about whether someone was together, taking it together, you could compare their time date stamps but also is helpful if a student, you see a student struggled and you see that they took a 150 question test in 2 minutes, that they probably didn't take time to read each item. So you get the detailed per student results as well. And then on top of that, we're going to give you the actual breakdown of the exam with the validation statistics, so that for every item, you're going to be able to see the curriculum reference. So question 1, the curriculum for that one is the registry practice analysis of AB3. And then you can see of the 13 students that took this experience, 1 selected A, 9 selected B, no one selected C, and 3 selected choice D. The p-value is 0.69. We provide you with the difficulty statistics for your cohort. And so for this particular one, item 1 had a difficulty of 0.20. The national difficulty column is just the difficulty that's calculated in our system based on every student response that has taken this particular test. And then we provide you with your class discrimination and point by serial. So the discrimination statistics, which are important to the advanced level programs for internal validation, that we have to review our high stakes assessments. And so any item that did not perform well for our class, we'd want to take a look at. So the system automatically calls out anything that's got a 0 or negative discrimination. Then just so that as a school, you're able to sit down and look at that item and try to figure out why it didn't perform well for your given cohort. Also, as the instructor, you'll be provided with a PDF copy of the exam that your students have taken. That way you can review it, and that way you have it to do your internal validation analysis and review on. And we also, it can be used for medical director approval of the high stakes assessment. And if getting them, if sharing the paper copy with them is not the best option for you, we can give your medical director access directly into the site. We can give them an account to log in, and they can review and approve the assessment for you that way as well. So in a nutshell, what we have is a reasonable cost solution for those schools that are looking for an option to deliver final exams remotely to their students in a secure fashion. So this is not a proctored event. So this is just software restricting the student's ability to exit and access other things. And so we just present this as one potential solution for you that's out there. I recognize there are other solutions out there as well, but we just want to make sure that you know what your options are, and that we provide you with the best information we can. And because it is in our heart that we are here to serve you in the industry, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help out during this time. So that is my spiel, and with that, if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them for you.
Great. Thank you, John. We really appreciate that presentation. We did have several questions come through during the presentation. The first one being, how do we get the results over to NRENT?
To get the testing results, I guess that would depend on how you're currently doing it. My understanding was that, back when I was still more active in the classroom and running the programs, we would approve the students for testing. So we're going to provide you with the student results, and then those are your files for you to keep. And then I guess I would need to know if there's some certain or special way you've been reporting to registry. And if there's something we can do to assist, then we could go from there.
All right, great. And then the next question is, can a school use their own tests and upload them into your secure platform? I'm assuming this is mostly pertaining to what level are these tests customizable?
So the option that we chatted about today for the final exams and those prices shared, those are for the final exams that we currently have created in EMS testing. They're blueprinted to the National Registry's practice analysis and reference against education standards. They are well developed, well validated. And so those tests in the environment that we talked about today at these prices are not customizable. EMS testing as a full solution allows schools to input their own content and deliver it to their students remotely, and they can use the secure testing platform that way with their own content. But that's not part of this that we shared today. But it is something that we could talk case by case with those schools and see what we could do.
Thank you. Moving on to the next question this is referring to the Respondus lockdown that you referred to. Is the lockdown specific to the device or to the IP address?
It is to the device, and so it's a resident software. So they're going to have to download the software and install the software on their machine, and so it's on their machine, and then so what it does is when they launch the test, it's going to open up that secure browser, which is part of that software, and then it locks down the rest of their computer. But so I guess it's not unsimilar to how like I guess like the crypto locker stuff that was going around to where it locks down the computer. So this secure browser opens for them to take that test, and if they exit the browser, they exit the test. If they it won't allow them to navigate anywhere outside that. It won't allow them to have anything else running. I would have loved to have been able to record and show y'all the process of it, but I can't have my screen recording software running while I'm in a secure testing environment. So that's why I had to just do my best to talk to you about this, the secure testing piece of it, the lockdown browser, because I can't physically show you the process.
All right, that works. Thank you very much. So we're having a lot of questions roll in all at once. So I'm trying to kind of aggregate them so that I don't have to ask every single one. But could you just describe, I guess, the fee structure, and then does this fee include module exams or just the final exam that you described in this tutorial?
So the fees again were per test, $25 per test for the paramedic level. AEMT and EMT were $20 per student, and the EMR would be $10 per student. Those are the final exam fees. For the full version of EMS testing, then the module exams are available as well as the final exams. But this fee schedule was for the final exams.
All right, thank you. That's very helpful. We had several questions regarding that.
Now, with that, Nate, though, if there was a school that was looking for the a solution to be able to deliver module exams in addition to, they could certainly call and talk with Jeff or email through sales@platinummed.com, and I know Jeff would be happy to talk to him to see if there's something that we could work out to assist them, whether it was prorated or for the full or for the full software, or if there was something else we could do for them. But certainly, if interested, reach out.
Yeah, and for everyone that's listening, I'll send out an email to everybody who attended this webinar, and it'll include all of the information and contact for everybody from Platinum Med that you'll need to get in touch to talk about EMS testing and potentially how it could work for you or your organization. I had a question about how far in advance do we need to secure these tests, and how many can test at once from the same school. And then the last part of this is, do you take PO? I believe that's in reference to purchase order, but it might be me. I may not know what's
Okay.
we're talking about.
All right. So the first part was how far in advance.
Correct.
So how far in advance is, we just would need enough time for you to request what the fee was going to be for your group of students, for that to be for that payment to be processed either by credit card or by invoice, PO. Jeremy, Jeff, feel free to jump in there, because that's a little outside my educational wheelhouse, but I know that they can take payments that way. And so it could be, if it needed to be a day, then as long as you could process in a day, I can process in a day to build it out, get you the course code, and so that your students can get enrolled. As far as how many students could be testing at a given time, what's the size of your class? Because it is online, it's remote. If you have 100 students that need to all log in at the same time, then you say we're going to have them log in at the same time, and they all could log in from wherever they're at and have access to it. You let us know what that window is, how long you want the test to be available for, whether it's only open for them to log in and start the test for 30 minutes, or you want them to be able to log in and start the test over the course of a couple days. You define that window. I'm going to set that window for you. The system will handle as many students as you have without any issue. So that was part one. And part two, I think part three was the PO. And Jeff, if you can just chime in there, I believe that's something that we can do, correct?
Yeah, we could do a purchase order or a credit card, and you guys can send. Again, we won't take credit card over the phone. We can certainly put you in touch with accounting, but from a purchase order standpoint, you can actually send that directly to me, and then we'll coordinate with Spencer on the creation, make sure your testing is set up. We'll ask you to send a student list to us just for verification standpoint to make sure all those students are enrolled into your course, and then from there we'll take over. So there's very little setup. It's very easy to do. We've got a process set up. In terms of payment, yes, we could take purchase order or credit card, and our accounting person is very proactive in this environment. So we'll make it as quick and painless as possible for you from a payment standpoint.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Jeff. We had an individual with several questions, but I think that they will be very helpful. Are you able to limit time per question or time for the whole exam, like overall? And then also, is this limited to the United States? Would it be available internationally, particularly like in the Caribbean?
All right, wonderful. So great questions. So yes, so we can limit the amount of time that is allowed for the test. And so by default, we set it at 1 minute per. So 1 minute per item is just kind of where we set it. So if if you contact, when I contact you, when we chat, and you tell me that you would like it set at 2 minutes per question, then we just set that window. That's how long they're going to have to complete that test. If you have a student that has an accommodation for a learning disability where we need to provide them additional time, you let us know what student that is, and we can make that adjustment on that student to allow 50% more time, 25% more time, 75%, whatever the accommodation is. We can assign that directly to that student's account individually as well. And because EMS testing is an online solution, it's not restricted to the United States. So certainly students from the Caribbean, as long as they have internet access, they can access the site and take the exam. We have customers outside the United States that use the full solution, and so it's very doable. I think I hit all the points there.
Yeah,
if not,
that was great. Another question, you had mentioned right as we were wrapping up the presentation about you couldn't use your screen sharing software, but there's a question kind of pertaining to that is, can you use Zoom software or at the same time for monitoring or some sort of an add-on feature, or are all of those not possible with EMS testing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have not tested that with Respondus. And I know there's other services available that do virtual proctoring either through the use of AI or literally people remotely. And I don't know how that would work. That's something we'd have to dig into a little more, maybe talk to our dev team. Because I don't know that you could have, I don't know that you could have video conferencing up and running with secure testing, because my gut tells me if I can't have my screen recording software up and running, I probably can't have a video conference up and running either. But we can look into that more. So if whoever asked that question, if you want to shoot us an email with your particular thoughts on it, we'd be happy to dig into it a little more and let you know.
Awesome, thank you. Let's see, and then there was another question that's pertaining to after this current situation, like beyond this time. Is it $50 per person for a final exam, and does that include other exams too, such as medical, trauma, or operations exams, etc.?
So so what happens outside of this time? That's a great question, right? And I think we all return to a new version of normal, I'm sure. So these prices were set for the final exams. And Jeremy and Jeff, feel free to chime in. I don't know that we ever discussed this being just a solution that's available during this. I don't know that we ever discussed an end date. These prices that are set for these finals are just, that's what we felt was a reasonable cost per final. And I definitely don't see it doubling just because the current situation ends. For delivery of module exams and the final exams, that just wasn't considered. At least it wasn't something that was discussed for this presentation.
Yeah, this solution itself was just for the immediate situation that schools found themselves in, not being able to deliver their final exams to their students. We didn't see this as a long-term solution by any means, but more of a short-term option for folks who didn't have a way to deliver those.
Yeah, and to interject here as well, email me directly. Again, it's jeff@platinummed.com, and we'll work with your program. We do prorated rates based on how long your program is and based how long the students have been in the program, and how many exams you have left to take. So those are all subjective, but we are willing to work with you guys at this point in time, knowing the situation, the environment we're in. Email me directly and I'll work with you from a cost perspective. If you're in need of taking outside other exams like module exams, looking at the computer adaptive, you can reach out to me directly and I'll make sure we navigate that process with you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. The last question in here that we have addressed, but just for the sake of clarity, that is this a specific app that's downloaded or like a program? I believe that's sort of been addressed kind of here and there, but just to clear it up.
Yeah, just for clarification, it is a third-party software that's made available through our platform, and so it is a file. They're going to download it, and it is a program that they have to install on their machine. And again, it's software coming to you that's brought to you by Respondus, which is the company that brings the lockdown browser technology. Makes it available for us to anyone that's operating on a PC that's running a full version of Windows, a Mac, or an iPad. And so again, it's software that has to be downloaded and installed locally on their machines.
And another point to that is a lot of questions come up that how easy is it to get off my computer? It's very easily uninstalled as well, if that's a concern.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. If there are any other questions for anyone still in attendance, like if you guys have anything, you can feel free to send it in. I will be sending out an email to everyone who has attended, and all of this you'll have the opportunity to contact anyone from Platinum Ed. It sounds like your best bet will be to work out what's best for your program specifically. So the best thing to do would be to contact them, but I'll be supplying all of that information directly to you guys, so you'll be able to do that easily very soon. If you guys have anything else to say before we go ahead and wrap this up.
I just want to thank everyone again for your time, and just to let you guys know we're here to support you. We're all in this together, and so if there's anything we can do to assist you in your program in any way, please do not hesitate to reach out and see what we can do together to find an optimal solution for you.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to go through your software. It's been very great. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this has been very helpful for you guys. And yeah, thank you guys. Thanks, John, Jeff, and Jeremy.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great week, guys.